I'm Will Sutton, and here with me today is Ashley Shelton
Good
from
morning.
Power Coalition and so much more. I know that's your prominent and dominant act these days with all of that good work, but you've been around.
Yeah, been doing some things.
Yeah, but yep. So,
And I always tease folks, after, Katrina, I did so much work to rebuild the city and then help rebuild it after Rita.
yeah,
Let's see, Gustav, Ike, and the BP oil spill. And so, been here a minute trying to make sure that, our communities are good.
yep. Well, and of course, Power Coalition for Equity and Justice just keeps growing
Mm-hmm.
in terms of your footprint.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has was a different thing 10 years ago and then 7 years ago and then more like I don't know, you tell me, 3 to 5 years ago, y'all kind of became even bigger,
Yeah.
something else, you know. And you got all this national stuff going on too.
Yeah. I mean, and then too, I tell folks all the time, your life is both understanding electoral politics at the local, state, and federal level. And so you got to fight at the local, state, and federal level. And so that's what we've been doing because our rights are being challenged at every level of government, and
Yeah,
you got to fight. In all the ways you have to fight, yep, a couple of lawsuits to protect the rights of voters here. From COVID, where we had to, sue the Secretary of State to make sure that people could vote safely,
mm-hmm.
to Calais versus Louisiana, where we're continuing to fight to make sure that we have fair representation. So
Important
lots of
stuff.
good work. Yeah.
Important work, and we're going to be talking more specifically about the special elections that we have going on in New Orleans. There are others elsewhere. We're going to focus on the three that are here in New Orleans. That's the State Senate District 3, State Rep District 97, and State Rep District 100. So
Yes.
important races, and
Yeah, and early voting starts tomorrow.
when does it start?
Tomorrow. And I always remind folks that the thing I love about early voting is pick your weather, right? So I know the
There you go.
cold is coming.
I like that.
Right?
Pick your weather.
Pick your weather. And so we don't know what's going to happen on February 7th. We do know that we need to, one, prepare for the winter storm that's coming, but you can definitely go by City Hall and vote before we have the rain and the ice and all the different things. And so pick your weather. Pick your weather.
Yeah, I like that. So it is 7:04 a.m. You're listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 a.m. I am Will Sutton. With me is Ashley Shelton. And we've got quite a show lined up for you today because we're going to have Arnie Felco coming in. And that's going to be good because Arnie and team have done a number of things to focus on New Orleans youth and taking them to Selma and Birmingham and a civil rights tour at their younger ages. I'm sure with the work that you do, you
Mm-hmm.
have met people who know of it, but they might be 60, 70 years old and don't understand the importance of Birmingham or Montgomery or New
Right.
Orleans or Baton Rouge as a part of the civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
So to expose these young people to something beyond whatever they are learning in school.
Right.
And
Well,
now, of course, we got people want to.
you got curriculum
Yeah,
issues.
right. Yeah.
Right.
So it's really good.
Slavery
to
was not a
have-
work program,
Yeah,
okay?
right.
It's
So,
not as it's being explained today.
Yep. And we got Ruth Lawson, the president of the Jefferson Chamber, with a fascinating approach to getting people involved and knowledgeable about our country with a national civics beat.
I'm so excited about it. I was just like, I can't wait. I
I
said,
know.
I can't, I want to be a part.
Yeah, right. So sometimes I'll refer to folks who are naturalized citizens, and if you never have taken a look at the test questions, take a look.
Yeah.
You might not be able to answer some of them.
Well, I think that most Americans couldn't pass the test.
Right.
And it's a hard, I mean, like, it's a hard test. You have to remember, like, you have to know all these different things about the history of this country. And we aren't teaching our children the history of our country. And now we want to kind of, downplay like, again, the violence and all of the terrible things we're seeing today. We don't even have to go to World War II, Germany. It's been our history too.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to be diving into that as well as we go on with the show. And of course, you're hearing our voices, but we would love to hear from yours. The talk line is 504-582-9422. I started to give you my number, but I don't think you want that. Something tells me I don't really want to talk to you. I want to talk to the audience.
Yes.
504-582-9422. That is the WBOK talk line one more time. How about you say it? 502.
Oh, yeah, 504-582-9422.
All right.
So we want to hear from you.
All right. Very good. So we're going to be going to break. And as we go into break, let me just remind you that it's 7:08 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 7:10. You got 2 minutes. So slide on to the other side of the bed. Get those feet out, fire up the laptop, and get ready to go. If you're blessed to have that kind of role. If not, then you know what you got to do. Get up and get going, get out that door, catch that RTA, streetcar or bus, or call for that Uber or Lyft or whatever rideshare you use. And if you're driving, please be safe as you watch out for the schools and the school zones, because our babies and kiddos need to get to school safely. All right, we're going to break. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Friday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. As Louisiana braces for bitter cold and icy roads this weekend, Entergy says it is ramping up staffing and staging teams ahead of any potential power outages. We're told crews have been insulating critical power plant equipment, inspecting and maintaining transmission lines, and trimming tree limbs above power lines. As for CLECO, which serves part of the North Shore, that company is taking similar precautions, securing nearly 400 contractors. Those include line contractors and tree trimmers. And state transportation officials are also bracing for potential impacts, saying they are staging salt and brine across the state so they can treat roads as needed. They encourage anyone driving this weekend to call 511 for information on road closures and overall conditions. Then we are learning new details about what Carnival will look like this year as major parades begin to roll this weekend. This Carnival, we will once again be under the protection of a SEER 1 rating, which unlocks additional federal resources. And the NOPD says that serpentine barriers we saw last year set up along St. Charles Avenue will be back this year. Remember, Mardi Gras is coming up on Tuesday, February 17th. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks.
And Kimber White Dupree.
From the front porch, y'all. You know how we do every Monday. It's Moving Monday.
And Tuesday is Trivia Tuesday.
And y'all know we have nothing but bad cheering coming through here on Wednesday.
But stick with us. On Thursday, we travel.
That's right. And Friday's Free Your Mind Friday, so get your brass up.
Something on your mind? Want to get it off your chest?
Holla at your people. WBOK 1230 a.m., the station you listen to.
All day long.
Good morning.
Wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. If you have been in attendance and tuned in and offering some of your brain cells and your attention to us here at WBOK this morning. If not, welcome to the Good Morning Show. If you're
Morning.
just tuning in, I'm Will Sutton, and this is Ashley Shelton.
Yes,
And we are happy to be with you this morning. So we started talking about the special election, and there are other special elections in Louisiana, but there are three that are most important to the parish of Orleans, the city of New Orleans, and I know you all watch all kinds of things, things that need litigation and things that need monitoring, things that need advocacy,
Yes.
and always a part of your interest is registering to vote, voter education,
Yes.
voting patterns, all that kind of thing. And no election is too small.
No, and
You
they
know,
all
no
matter.
election.
They
Yeah,
all matter.
They all matter one way or another. And so in this case, we're talking about the three representatives from this city representing parts of New Orleans in the state legislature
Yeah.
with a legislative session coming up, which means
Yes,
they will
March
be
9th.
new to the legislature and new to a legislative session that they've more likely than not never sat through before. And in some cases may not have visited. But this is a role that they're offering themselves up for. So
And they have some big shoes to fill too.
they've got huge shoes to fill.
And-
you say the just the last names: Bowie,
Mm-hmm.
Willett,
Yep.
Hughes.
Yep.
You say that at the Capitol,
Yeah.
people know who you're talking about.
Absolutely. And they've led. They've
Yes.
been leaders.
They have been leaders.
And so, one of the things I'm excited about is that we're doing a candidate meet and greet on January 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Household of Faith so that people can meet these candidates.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
understand like what are they excited about? What do they want to move and from a leadership perspective for the city of New Orleans and the districts that they'll be representing. And so, again, that'll be Thursday, January 29th from 6 to 8 at the Household of Faith. And so, yep. And so it'll
Right off
be,
of I-10.
yes. And so we'll be able to, and it's all three races. And so an opportunity for folks to meet the candidates and hear a little bit about what's important to them.
So there are no minimum polling number or no minimum threshold of financial contributions, or it's just if you are qualified and in the race, you can be a
Yes,
part.
yes. Nonpartisan. Everybody, all candidates are invited. All candidates, have been invited, and we make sure to document that because it's an issue.
Yeah.
It can be an issue,
Yeah.
and so we make sure that from our perspective and our work, that from a nonpartisan perspective, everyone has to be invited, and as they should be, because they all can be elected. And here's regardless of finance reports and all these other things, the reality is that the voters get to decide. And we want them to make a good decision, and so you got to meet them though, and
Right.
get to know what their policy, like what do they care about,
Right.
how do they want to lead,
Yeah.
what do they understand about these districts, and and the citizens that they're getting ready to represent.
So I understand you've found some interesting data and information as you all are
have.
monitoring and watching the days leading into the special election. But of course, some of the things you do overall is looking at registration and voter trends, and you found something interesting.
I did. And so we looked at, Will asked me to make sure I had my numbers about, voter registration since the election. And so we looked at November, December, January to just kind of see if we've had an increase in registrations. And what we found, though, is that we're actually losing voters. And so, in fact, like we checked the numbers, and so we're down, like 165 voters in the city of New Orleans.
165.
Yep. And so we are trying to figure out like what does that mean? And I think it's been a trend. This isn't just like some new thing that we're figuring out. It's something that we've been seeing over the last year. And and we also, it's like, are people moving? Are people dying? What's going on? But we know that at the end of the day, it's probably more likely that people are moving. But it is interesting that we see the numbers going down.
Mm.
You
Mm.
see the
Mm.
numbers going down.
So, yeah, have you seen this kind of decrease in other areas, or is that kind of an ongoing thing that you will be looking at?
Usually, like because we looked at it, we thought, I was like, well, maybe it's a purge. Maybe people are being purged from the roles. Not really sure what's happening, but that isn't it. And so it's like if you look at it for each month, I mean, like we're on an average, kind of dropping, almost 100 voters, between a quarter, every quarter. And so it's
Right.
like what's happening? And
Mhm.
so it's interesting, but
Yeah.
we do know that we have 145,000 plus Black folks registered in the city of New Orleans, but we have 165 Black voting age population, 165,000. So that means that we've got some
Mm.
opportunity.
Mm.
We got some
Th-
unregistered folks.
There's a gap.
There's a gap. There's a gap.
145 versus 165.
65, yeah. So we have an
Oh.
opportunity. We have an opportunity. And
Mm.
so, we need our young people engaged and getting registered. We need folks that think that they can't vote to engage and understand that if you've been formerly incarcerated, you may be able to vote. Our good partners at, Voice of the Experienced, right down the street, they do amazing work to make sure
Mhm.
that they will walk you through the process. And Zeke on their team, we were teasing yesterday. We were calling her like the mother of registration. Like she's walked so many people through the process of
Yeah,
making sure
right.
that they could register to vote after being incarcerated. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite things is on election day to be with our partners and our friends that vote, and to see all the pictures come through. Like people are so proud of the opportunity to have to be re-enfranchised, to
Right.
be able to have their voices heard. And so you need to know if you can vote. Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
They're two like call Power Coalition, email us at info@powercoalition.org. Call us in our offices, go through our website. There's so much information.
Yeah.
And so want to make sure that folks have access to it.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, the Secretary of State's website is actually pretty expansive.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of information there, but information that we can use to make sure that we're registering and engaging in the process.
Well, I wonder how many folks have dropped off the rolls in these particular districts, because the more you have registered, the more you have the opportunity to have more people vote. At this point, for this particular special election, it's too late to register to vote at this point. So those deadlines in person and online have passed. But there's never a day when it's too late to register.
Exactly.
There will be another election coming up. So you go ahead, if you know some of those 165 people,
Yeah.
go ahead and get them.
Well, it's 165 plus, so, but I mean,
165 plus,
yeah.
okay.
So, but
All
it's,
right.
but it's, but it's a thing.
Right.
It's a thing, and so
Yeah.
we need to make sure that we're showing up and registering. And I can't say it enough. The elected officials are deciding what's your quality of life. They are
Yeah.
impacting and making decisions about your community, your streets, your roads, your churches, your universities. I mean, the things that you care about.
Right.
They're making decisions every single day about the state budget. They can bring legislation to solve problems in the community.
Mhm.
And so you want to make sure that you have leaders that are engaging and understand and are going to do the work for do the work of the people that
Yeah.
elected you.
Mhm.
They work for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Whether Mr. Trump realizes that or not. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
State Senator, 3rd Senatorial District, we have Attorney Ken Barnes running for what I'm going to call the Joe Bowie seat. We have Sidney J. Bartholomew the second in as a candidate. We have former State Senator John Johnson looking for a return as a candidate, and we have Chad Legua. Am I saying that right? Legua?
I think so. Yeah.
As a candidate as well for what I'll call the Joe Bowie seat.
Yes.
Okay. And then in the State Representative 97th District, we have two candidates. We have Eugene Green, a name as listed on the ballot, on ballots, on handouts cards, flyers, and signs, it's Eugene Green III.
Yes.
And then Ed Murray is also a candidate. And on the ballot, it's Ed Murray. And that's a name that's familiar to some. But this is not that guy. He's his own man. And so we've got those two running for that seat that I'll call the Willard seat. Okay. So, and then State Representative 100th District, we have more people running. And we have Patricia Boyd Robinson, Dana Henry, we have Aisha Kelly, Kenya Rounds, and Candace Taylor. So those are the candidates for that, and that's going to be a hot one.
That's going to be a hot one. And if you live in the East, you need some representation. They're talking about bringing this, this data center.
Data center, yep.
And we know the devastating impacts that it has on communities, environmentally. And so it looks like you're gonna need some leadership at the local and the state level to protect your communities. And this is a thing in the East. We've been fighting so many different things, landfills. Even after Katrina, everybody was just like, oh, let's just put it over there. And and so I do think this is an opportunity for citizens in the East to make sure that they have the kind of leaders that are going to stand up for them and protect their communities.
Yeah. Yep. Well, quite a cast of candidates.
Yes.
I mean, depending on where you are philosophically and what issues you care about in the East, there are probably two or three of the people that are just like, well, I would wish I could have this one and this one. Well, you can't.
Right.
There's going to
Just
be
be
one winner. There's
Yeah.
going to be one winner.
Yeah.
And
And I think too, like we're in a critical moment in both history and kind of politically, and leadership matters. And like we are working with the Black Caucus right now to introduce a state voting rights act, to continue our fight for fair and equitable maps. And I want to be clear, we're not asking anybody for anything that's unfair. We're asking for, the representation. Like 1 in 3 voters in the state of Louisiana is African American. I mean, 30% of the population is African American.
Yeah.
Second largest, Black population proportionally in the country. Second to Mississippi. And so the idea that we aren't having, true representation, is problematic. And so we want to continue that fight. We want to continue to do that, and really excited to work with Senator Royce DePlessis, who's introducing the legislation. And so I'm excited to see who we get from New Orleans, so that as we fight this fight, that, New Orleans will stand, because, I think New Orleans is such a powerful political seat.
right.
In this state, and so the leadership matters, and and so I'm excited to meet these candidates and understand where they are on the issues, and for voters to come out. And we know these are low turnout elections. We're looking at 15 to 20% turnout, and
I hope we get 15 and 20.
exactly right.
I mean, because some of these elections, it's like, what do you mean single digit or 11?
11. No, you're right. You're right. We did see 11.
Lordy.
Yeah, it was concerning. And here's the thing: voters haven't voted in this district for leadership in a minute, because they were all Bowie, Willard, and Hughes were unchallenged in 2023, and so now we're asking voters to really engage and really show up for these elections, because again, these are big shoes to fill. Like Willard, Bowie, and Hughes were really powerful leaders in our legislature. We depended on their voice, and so whoever replaces them, it's going to be critical that they're ready to jump in and do the work.
Absolutely, and some ongoing issues in the East are not going away without really jumping in there and picking up where the fight left off. And no offense to any New Orleans East leader, but there's some things that have been issues for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then there are others there, an elected official or some community folks have been successful with moving it forward, but not crossing the
Finish
line
line.
to get that touchdown. And so got to keep working at it.
Yep.
All right, it's 7:26 a.m., folks, and you're listening to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK. I'm Will Sutton in with Ashley Shelton, and we've got quite a bit of a show coming up. We're expecting to talk about some civics soon, and we're going to talk about a guy you know, Arnie Philco, and one of the parents that had a kid go on this special New Orleans Youth Civil Rights Tour as well. All of that and more coming up after this break. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
New Orleans never sleeps, and neither does WBOK. Now, every voice, every moment, and every show is in your pocket. Search WBOK Media wherever you get podcasts. Download, share, rate us 5 stars. Because when you support us, you amplify Black voices and the New Orleans culture.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funniest story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Hi, I'm Imani Godin, founder of Godance. Godance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit Godance, GAUDANSE.org.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. This is Will Sutton, and I'm with Ashley Shelton.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
It's excited,
Always a pleasure.
Always fun.
All right. So you're listening to WBOK. Some of you on AM radio, that's 1230, and some of you via the internet, via the WBOK 1230 AM website, and some of you watching on YouTube, and then there's the others of you who are watching and listening via Facebook Live.
Yep.
So, hey, y'all.
Hey, what's
Thank you
going
for
on?
tuning in. Let us know what's up, how you doing, and I'd be curious about how y'all feeling about some of these races, quite frankly, especially if you live in one of those districts. And I guess there's 100 would overlap with Senate District 3.
Yeah, it will.
So you could live in two of those districts. And I'd be curious what you're thinking, or you're going to wait until after early voting ends to think about it and why. But as Ashley said, pick your weather.
Yeah, pick your weather.
Yep. So.
Early voting starts tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right. So look, let's look at some other things happening in the news. I want to go to Amanda Watford's story in the Louisiana Illuminator. And how about this headline? Let's just start with the headline. Footage, documents at odds with DHS accounts of immigration enforcement incidents. Is that another way of writing a headline to say somebody must have lied?
Yeah, like the evidence is not lining up with the story that's being told.
Oh my goodness.
And I think social media has really helped, and people have been on it. Like citizens are tired of like this bullying, this terror and trauma that's happening to our communities. We just talked last week about a young man that drowned.
Yes.
That was well loved. There were several stories about folks that love this man who's working hard.
Yep.
And he was an oysterman working hard in an industry that really matters in this town.
Doing his job.
Doing his job. And so this, so folks are recording this stuff. And so now the accounts need to match up. And they're not. And we know they're not. I mean, we're seeing it all over social media. So much so, sometimes I got to take a break. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
Some of it is just,
it's heartbreaking.
Just very disturbing.
No, it is.
And
I tell people too, like, people think I'm being dramatic when I say, everybody needs to start questioning, like, what does citizenship mean and what does the Constitution mean? Mm-hmm. And so on all these posts, I always kind of just scroll through to see what the comments are. And everybody's like, well, what about the Constitution? Well, the Supreme Court said, they've weakened the 14th Amendment and said you don't have to have due process. And
which is crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Because before all this, people like arguing and fussing and pointing out different points as relates to due process. Many court cases related to how you do it and the implementation. You ignore this, ignore that, and now we're just going to say, don't worry about that.
Yeah, you don't have any rights. And then everybody was calm and cool because they were like, oh, well, it's just the immigrants. Guess what, y'all? It's all of us. It is all of us. We are all seeing, they're basically the eroding of the Constitution.
Yeah. Well,
and God knows as a Black woman in this country, I don't think the Constitution went far enough, but thank God it exists, because at this point we're undermining, this critical document that lays out what our rights are. And then your right to protest, your First Amendment right. And, we're seeing
freedom of speech.
Yeah, freedom of speech. And we're seeing people get shot for basically saying we don't want this in our community.
I don't know if you saw it, but just a few days ago, they were threatening the arrest of Don Lemon.
Yes, I
for reporting on this story.
Yeah. and it's like, you can't, like, what country are we in? You can't do that. He has his First Amendment right to tell the story. And you're a journalist.
Right.
You know how it goes. Like, you have the right to tell the story.
Yeah. So with that part of what happened. Just the way I think sometimes. It's like, oh, so they're going to tell him he's 3/5 of a man and 3/5 of the journalist, and you just crossed the line, so you can't do the 4th and the 5th. Get some other things you can do, but no, you can't do that.
It's
like,
insane.
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Boy.
Come on.
Well, let me read
and again, going back to what about the Constitution? That's my new thing. What about the Constitution? What about it? At this point, there are no rules.
Right.
No rules.
Right. Well, I'm going to read a little bit from the story. I'm not going to read all this because it's a well-done story, but I want to read this to kind of summarize it. In more than a handful of recent encounters, the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration and customs enforcement and customs and border protection, has said its agents acted in self-defense during violent encounters, even as eyewitness testimony and video footage raised questions about whether those accounts fully matched what happened. And in a ruling for a recent civil lawsuit, a U.S. district judge said federal immigration officials were not forthcoming about enforcement efforts, citing discrepancies between official DHS statements and video evidence.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
So.
Yeah, and then and it was interesting too that Homeland Security and immigration did not respond to requests from media about the fact that the discrepancy is really around official accounts and publicly available evidence. Let me say that again. Publicly available evidence.
Yeah. So it's not like a incident that we had in northern Louisiana where the video will be coming at the appropriate time. No, this video all over the place.
Right, no, exactly. It's all over the internet, right?
And some of the people have combined multiple angles.
Yes, no, it's and I think it is the interesting thing about this moment and how social media is playing a role in documenting what we're seeing happening all across this country. And I just, again, we got to talk to our local elected officials, our state officials, and our Congress folks about the realities of this is scary.
Yeah.
And I don't ever go to sleep thinking that this isn't coming to a town near you.
Yeah. Right.
And we've seen the National Guard here. We've seen, some of the, like I said, we saw loss of life. And this isn't what America is supposed to be.
Yep. Well, just for the record, I am an American citizen.
Me too.
All of my papers are in order. I have not personally been a part of any of this, these shenanigans that have been going on. But here I am living in my city, and in recent weeks, I have seen, just going about where I'm going, National Guards representatives, plural.
Mm-hmm, right.
I have seen ICE agents.
Yep.
I have seen Border Patrol.
Yep.
I have seen Homeland Security.
Yep.
And I'm just going about my business. It's like, they're all over the place.
Yeah, no, they are.
So I went at the movie theater.
Yep.
So I went going to the C-store.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is you can walk down Canal, and they're everywhere on Canal.
Yep.
Everywhere in the quarter.
Yep.
And they're just hanging out,
Yeah.
But also, too, pursuing people. And, it's scary. It's scary. And then, people ask me if I'm Dominican all the time. I was like, and it's real.
Right.
It's real.
Right.
And we also have a large, Caribbean immigrant community here,
Right.
Honduras and
Yep.
several other places. And so, you just don't know when one of these guys is just going to wig out. And again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the point isn't whether you're here illegally. The point is terror and trauma.
Yep. Well, there is some pushback, and yesterday in the U.S. House of Representatives, there were 4 appropriation bills that would fund the government and avert a partial shutdown. So for those of you who
Right.
are very focused on the craziness of ICE and immigration and arresting people that are citizens and have not committed any crimes and all of that. Don't forget we had a historic 43-day shutdown.
Yep.
That caused all kinds of havoc that we're still recovering from.
Yes.
Because when you stop some of these things, it has a domino effect on a lot of other
Absolutely
important work that takes money.
Yep.
And I just dropped the word research in there. You stop the research for 30, 40 days.
Yep.
In some cases, you kind of have to start over.
Yeah.
As opposed to just pick up where you left off.
And then think about the people, right? Like these are real everyday people going to work, getting work done, trying to keep this country moving forward, and no pay.
Yeah, right.
and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we make all these exceptions, like, oh, we're going to pay the military. Oh, we're going to do, we're going to figure out this or that. And it's like, no, it needs to work. It needs to work.
Yep. Well, those appropriation bills were passed. There were a number of Democrats who said, no go, we're not in favor of this. And there were 4 bills, one for defense, another one for Homeland Security, another for labor, health, and human services and education, and then transportation, housing, and urban development. So there are more appropriation bills that have to be passed to avoid what's being called a partial government shutdown, but that has to happen in the next couple of weeks. I mean, well, not even the next couple of weeks, by next week.
Right.
I forgot. It's like in a week.
Right.
Like by January 30th.
Exactly.
And it's a heck of a thing because some politicians, elected officials, including Republicans now, are saying, what are we funding? What are we funding?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, like what are your taxpayer dollars doing? Because it doesn't feel like it's taking care of the things and the people that we care about.
Yep. So there's different attempts to put some guardrails on some of the action, and found this one interesting. A bill that would restrict ICE to spending only $3.8 billion of its fiscal budget on detention.
It's insane. So, yeah.
On detention.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of money.
Yep.
On detention.
Exactly.
So, detention, not you being convicted.
Right.
This is detention. But they still have a big wad of money because they got $75 billion that they're able to pull for them, and they'll probably use some of that also for detention.
Exactly. Well, so, and then I want to also bring us back, right, to all of these numbers, right? And the Department of Homeland Security also manages FEMA, also manages, the response to disaster. And so we're so busy traumatizing and terrorizing our communities through this funding of ICE and detention, and again, the rounding up of hardworking folks, that we're forgetting about the fact that, the grid may be out. If this storm creates a lot of heavy ice and sleet, it takes the grid down. And so we could be in our homes for a week without heat, without electricity. And so now what? And we saw it in Houston in 2016 when that ice storm came through, and this is the same kind of storm. And so we have to prepare for that. And where's the money to make sure that again, this is what we pay taxes for the federal government to come in and make sure that we're whole, to make sure that our grid is resilient, to make sure that we can recover from this ice storm. And we don't know what it's going to be. I've heard sleet, ice, snow, maybe this, maybe not.
Yeah, it depends if you're 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away, 2 hours away. If you're making a flight and connecting through Atlanta, I can tell you, I had a flight for Saturday, and I start getting the warnings. Your flight may be affected. Your flight may be. You might
want to change your flight.
Right. So I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
So it's starting, and Amtrak's pulling back some service. But to your point about where is this coming from, let me connect the dot in the way that Will Sutton is thinking about some of this. So recently, we had news stories across the United States where governors of different parties, but particularly Republican parties, were telling the federal government, we need our FEMA money.
Yep.
Our Republican governor, huge supporter of President Donald Trump, got a big no.
Yeah.
No. So when these disasters happen, there is follow-up that doesn't take days or weeks. It
Yep.
takes quite a long time.
It does.
And that work has to be done. And some of that work is currently not being funded or not going to be funded.
Mhm.
And so where's that money supposed to come from? Oh, you states should pick that up. Well, wait a minute. You got all these other people in here.
Mhm.
What are that? Well, they're controlling the purse strings.
Yeah.
As you noted, under the same umbrella.
Yep.
Where do you think the money's coming from?
No, and then too, like it's a joke for whenever anybody at the federal level tells you that the state should pay for something. We are Louisiana is poor. We are a poor state. More than 54% of our budget comes from the federal government.
Say that again.
Yep, 54%.
54%.
And then too, and they pay for more than 80% of our health budget, the Department of Health. And so now these cuts, we don't know what the big ugly bill is going to do to the state of Louisiana. And it also should be noted, I don't know if we didn't fight for, better Medicaid, the necessity of Medicaid for our state, but we're getting cut. We're getting cut significantly. And again, I can't say it enough. People are going to die. And people don't believe it. People are just like, oh, it's that's down the road. It's not. It's a few months away.
Right.
But we're already seeing premiums go up for folks with private insurance. We're already seeing those impacts. And again, just reminding folks that like all of this stuff begins to just eat away at your household budget. We're all out here buying water. There's no water left. We're all, trying to prepare for this storm, charge all your devices, find all your blankets, be prepared because we don't know what the government's going to do. And again, why aren't our leaders that we elected fighting for the things that we need here in Louisiana?
Right.
Because again, more than half our budget comes from the federal government, and the federal government saying, we don't know. And so now if you're California, and I think 13, maybe 15% of their budget comes from the federal government, just to give you an example of how unbalanced our budget in the state is. And it's because we don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to pay property taxes. We don't, we want to make the, the sales tax the solution to making up revenue for the taxes that they don't want to move. And we have the highest sales tax in the country. And I don't know if you saw the story so while we have the highest sales tax in the country, we're giving, there was a story about, the governor, posting about this, this refund or rebate that that's being offered to people that buy boats. And so
Yes.
he's standing on a boat.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And where was he? In Bermuda. I think
Yeah.
he was in Bermuda. And meanwhile, your groceries and anything that you purchase online has a 10%, increase because we have the highest sales tax in the country. But we're giving tax breaks for people in their boats.
Yeah. And I don't think this was targeted for the people in the dinghies.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No, we're not helping the fishermen.
No.
This isn't about the fishermen.
Not at all.
Not
All
when
right.
you're enjoying yourself on
That's
a boat in
right,
Bermuda.
Right,
okay?
right. Well, this is the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton with Ashley Shelton, and it is 7:51 a.m. You got to be there at 8 o'clock. Please take your time. You got 9 minutes, and if you know it's going to take 15, that's all right. Just take your time. Drive easy, with attention, with focus, because we got kiddos on the way to school. Make sure that they get there safely and make sure you get where you are going safely. Watch out for the crazy drivers, because I know that's not you, but watch out for the other people who are doing the makeup and adjusting their glasses, and they are combing their hair and smoothing their beards. And,
Yep.
all of those folks, and the ones who, you can't move because the green light has gone on and they're still sitting there.
Yeah.
Well, they ain't looking at the green light.
Right, they're looking at their phone. Don't get me started about the people looking at their phones. Okay.
All right, 7:52 a.m. and we're going to take a break. You are listening to WBOK. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. You're hearing the voices of Will Sutton and Ashley Shelton, and we would love to hear yours.
Exactly.
I know you got some
Give
thoughts.
us a ring.
Yeah, absolutely. WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 a.m. Thank you to our WBOK family of listeners and those of you who are watching online on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you are watching. We appreciate your eyeballs and your ears tuning in to the Good Morning Show. So, Ashley, we were talking about ICE and FEMA and because not everybody had reason to access FEMA and have some of the ongoing things that happen when you have a disaster at home or with your business. They may not realize that so many of these situations are not resolved very quickly.
Nope, they're not.
You got to go through a number of different reviews and inspections, and that's
can take
people
years.
power on staff and with contractors, and somebody's got to pay for that, and that's us.
Yeah,
that's us. And I don't get upset when there's wildfires in California and they need FEMA help, because I know we need help.
We are,
on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
with paying taxes and going to help the people in California, going to help the people in Western North Carolina.
Yeah, they had the tornadoes in Missouri.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of climate events that are happening all over this country. And it used to be that we would be the Gulf Coast would be one, kind of heavily hit for the most part. And folks would always say, like, well, why don't you move? And then here's one of the crazy things. Sandy, I'll never forget this, working with some consultants in Ohio. And then we're like, why, this is just crazy. Why don't you move? Sandy went from Louisiana, made its way to Ohio, took out the hospital where literally his wife was in labor, and then went and destroyed New Jersey. And I said, what was that? Why don't we move? Like, there's no place in this country, maybe Utah, maybe, I don't know. I was like, there are a few places that may be a little less disaster prone, but we are all facing it. I think it's like over 80% of Americans are living in communities that can be flooded. Hurricanes, tornadoes, fire. We're seeing it more and more. And then all of that stuff gets exacerbated by then the man-made stuff that we do because we're not really managing our infrastructure well. And so, no, it's real. This is, nobody can say it's just us.
No.
And these
no.
storms are now, we're seeing their impact across the country. And, what is it? I think they said this storm is going to be coast to coast, like over 2,000 miles across this country in
Which
impact.
is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
and we know, South Louisiana is going to get a lot of rain, and it's going to be really cold, which are the conditions for ice. And so folks got to be careful on the road. Folks have to, we're going to see if there's an impact to the grid, but we know Central and North Louisiana are going to have a big issue. And so, the governor, he's issued a state of emergency. There was some good information about you can go to your fire station, any fire station in the state, and get smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, because folks have to be aware, like you can never run a generator in your house. But
Please
also
don't.
too,
Please
right.
don't.
No, it is lethal. It's lethal. And then, and then we see these space heaters and all of these things that are, can be hazardous. And so we want to make sure that folks stay safe in this winter storm. Charge all your devices, gather all your blankets, all your things, like prepare to make sure that you're ready, because here's the thing, there's nowhere to go, right? Usually if there's a hurricane, I can go to Houston, I can maybe go to Mississippi, and shelter from the storm. This is all of us. It's a big swath of the places we would typically go, and they're going to have some issues too. And so, but we know the grid is typically the biggest issue. The grid goes down because the ice takes the power lines down, and so folks need to be prepared for that.
Yep. If you haven't done it already.
Yep.
Go and get what you need. It's 7:59 a.m., minute before 8. Don't forget the babies are on their way to school. Drive safely. Respect the school zone speed limits. Shout out to the assistant principals on transportation duty.
Yes.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now.
The lines were very long. I think I waited about 15 minutes.
Folks have been at the grocery store buying provisions as a major winter storm is expected to bring heavy snow and dangerous cold to much of the U.S. this weekend. Forecasters say about 200 million people from New Mexico to New England are under alerts. Former NFL player Kevin Johnson was found murdered in a Los Angeles homeless encampment on Wednesday. The 55-year-old black man died from blunt head trauma and stab wounds while sleeping in the Willowboro area. Johnson played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Oakland Raiders from 1995 to 1997. And in Virginia, members of the State General Assembly are launching a Virginia Historically Black Colleges and University Caucus this week. The Richmond Free Press reports the focus is to protect the interests of the state's HBCUs they serve. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here at WBOK 1230 a.m. And welcome to those of you who are just tuning in because it's 8 o'clock and it feels a lot better than 6:30 or 7. So we get it. We're just thankful and grateful that you are tuning in at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I am Will Sutton. I'm with Ashley Shelton. And man, there's always something going on. And so in Plaquemines Parish, we have a Plaquemines council person arrested.
Yeah.
Arrested because she had people from out of state vote for her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And there are some other layers to this. So Wanda Jones, if any of you all know Wanda Jones, we certainly would like to know more. We'd love to hear from Wanda Jones.
Yeah.
Somebody from the family about what happened. And she has been accused of arranging for friends and family who don't live with her or live in her area, but from out of state, friends and family from other places, to vote for her in the 2024 general election. So she's been charged with 5 counts of election offenses affecting registration and election fraud or forgery. And her bond was set at $25,000.
Yeah.
No, it's not $1 million, but
Right.
you regular folk doing regular work and $25,000.
In a rural community
Yeah,
too,
right.
Like like this.
Oh boy. So the allegation includes that it just wasn't family and friends from out of town, but she, quote unquote, brought people in from Texas to register to vote for her.
Oh wow.
And somebody in Iberville Parish election official saw it, caught it, and reported it. And this was a case where Ms. Wanda Jones did win, and won
would have
her election.
and it would have won overwhelmingly without even engaging in the
So
in the alleged
269 to 183.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say it was 5 relatives.
Exactly.
She didn't need that.
Nope. Even if it was 10, 15.
Yeah, right.
She had it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she certainly didn't. I can't imagine that she got, say, 150 relatives and friends to come in and vote for her.
No.
So clearly, she was respected by the community of voters
Yeah.
who decided to vote and won overwhelmingly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and they have another, the Iberville community, they have an open seat as well. So District 60, and so they will be voting on February 7th as well. And so if you're in Iberville, have family in Iberville, again, early voting starts tomorrow. And so there's so in addition to whatever this is, evolving story is, they've got an interesting race in their community as well.
So why is that important to us?
Again, when I go to the legislature, it's like who are the elected leaders that are willing to do the work of the people? Who's here to do that work? And so, in District 60, again, it's going to be on the ballot February 7th, and we need folks to show up. When we have these low turnout elections, at the end of the day, we know it's low turnout, but you got to decide who's going to represent you. And are they going to vote the right way on the right things for your community?
And so there were 3 people in that race.
Right.
A Republican white male, a Democratic white female, and a Democratic black male.
Mm-hmm.
But the black male, Raheem Pierce, for whatever reason, decided to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leaves Brad Dago and Chastity Verrett Martinez competing for that seat.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're so caught up in our own thing, and I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yep.
Where's
Yep.
my person or my neighbor's person, my family's person, state rep, state senate, city council. But when you look at some of these other legislative seats, it's like, how'd you get in?
Yeah, no, and
How did you get in?
yeah, and here's the thing, especially in our rural communities, the leaders you elect matter even more because you've got to figure out how to prioritize your rural community in the face of some of these larger metros.
Right.
That are vying for dollars, and they've got the population to make the argument, and so for the rural communities, they've got to figure out how to fight for the dollars that they need for their communities to work.
So who's been in this seat?
This Chad Brown had been in this seat, and he has vacated that to take some fancy appointment from the governor, and so but this has traditionally been a Democratic seat. And so it'll be, so it's going to be a race. And so we'll see what that community chooses to do. But I just encourage them to go out and vote. You can go on our website. There are both ballots on our website and a link to the Secretary of State's website where you can pull up who is running, and we pull it straight from the site. And so again, even we were talking about Eugene Green III. When you look on our ballot, it's going to say Eugene Green because we pull it directly from the Secretary of State's website as they registered. Like that's how, when he went to, what's the word? I can't think of the word. When he went to
clerk's office.
When he went to the clerk's office, he registered as Eugene Green. And so you'll see that on our ballot. We know it is Eugene Green III, but, we pull it straight from the Secretary of State's website.
Yeah, and I think that's a part of campaign strategy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I never thought about it that way. You're right.
So,
You're
I mean, I'm an observer, but, but I've been an observer in a number of different communities.
Yeah.
And with legacy family names and with community activists deciding to run for office.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a name that they have gone by for 20 years in the streets. And if they just put their government name on the ballot, people are like, who's that?
Yeah.
But they know Chucky.
True.
Chucky, that's Chucky.
Yeah, no.
I'm voting for Chucky. He's down with us.
Exactly.
And so in this case, some people may look at the ballot and say, I like Eugene Green.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm voting for him. But they think it's Eugene Green, the councilman.
Yeah.
And same could be true with Murray. State senator was always good for me. Mm-hmm. And that's not the senator, that's the son. And so then you have there's a huge couple of signs not far from where I live, and it's more clear who the candidate is with some additional information or a letter or, that kind of thing, a suffix. And so that is a way of not disowning the family name, but making it clear I'm more of my own person.
Right.
And there have been a number of other cases in New Orleans and Baton Rouge across the state where people use quote unquote for their nickname, whatever their nickname is, because that's
how they're known in
people
community.
know them.
Yeah.
And in this case, you have Eugene Green on the ballot, and you have Ed Murray on the ballot, both names used by their fathers. And in Murray's case, it's quote Ed unquote. So that's the name he wants you to recognize.
Right.
And then we'll go from there and explain who we are and what we've done, why we deserve and all. Sure. And same is true in some of the other races with some of the attorneys, depending on which parts of the community you've been active in. You've seen this one at church. You've seen this one at these community meetings. You've seen this, but some of the others you learning about and you say, oh, I didn't know she did that. Oh, I didn't know she was that.
Well, and I think that's what's hard about this election too, is that like a lot of people don't know these, don't know these, the candidates. And so, I think that's why, we're putting this meet and greet on next Thursday, because it's just like that's what with the feedback we've been hearing from community. They were like, well, we don't even know who they are.
Right.
And I was like, okay, we got some work to do to make sure that, voters have some opportunity to access them and know who they are. And so, again, that's Thursday, the 29th from 6 to 8 at Household of Faith. Because that's a big conversation in the community is that people are like, well, we don't really know them. And their fathers, they know very well. And again, to your point, have been really strong leaders in our community. But we got to, what do you care about?
Right.
What do you want to know? And then too, and we have the opportunity to have some young people on the ballot, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But then when you think about the voter base that shows up for elections, people my age.
Listen to you.
People your age.
Young sister.
And we don't know the youngsters. I don't know. I don't know them. I want to know them. I absolutely want to know them. But I think that it's just like they've got to find a way to engage and get on the ground so that people can know them. And that's what I love about New Orleans. And that's the thing. We want to know each other.
Right. I'll say one more thing about that, and then we really got to go to break. And these are not highly financed campaigns.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
getting that message out will be hard. It's 8:12 a.m., folks. You're listening to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton with Ashley Shelton. We've been talking about the special elections in New Orleans, and also one that you might want to pay attention to elsewhere for the 60th district seat. So pay attention to that, because that's going to make a difference with that one vote happening, not happening.
Yep.
Voting the right way or not.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, no.
So that's the
It
thing to
matters.
watch.
It matters.
All right. Watch out for those babies and the kiddos going to their school. You take care of yourself.
Exactly.
This is WBLK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4
Good
p.m.
morning and happy Friday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. As Louisiana braces for bitter cold and icy roads this weekend, Entergy says it is ramping up staffing and staging teams ahead of any potential power outages. We're told crews have been insulating critical power plant equipment, inspecting and maintaining transmission lines, and trimming tree limbs above power lines. As for CLECO, which serves part of the North Shore, that company is taking similar precautions, securing nearly 400 contractors. Those include line contractors and tree trimmers. And state transportation officials are also bracing for potential impacts, saying they are staging salt and brine across the state so they can treat roads as needed. They encourage anyone driving this weekend to call 511 for information on road closures and overall conditions. Then we are learning new details about what Carnival will look like this year as major parades begin to roll this weekend. This Carnival, we will once again be under the protection of a SEER 1 rating, which unlocks additional federal resources. And the NOPD says that serpentine barriers we saw last year set up along St. Charles Avenue will be back this year. Remember, Mardi Gras is coming up on Tuesday, February 17th. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great
Norman Robinson is back.
Can you hear me now?
And he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 a.m. Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show, and welcome to the Good Morning Show for those of you all who are just tuning in after waking up, grabbing that robe, and making a pit stop or two, grabbing your coffee, your boiled egg, whatever it is that you like to have as you tune in and listen to this conversation and this talk, which means I'm Will Sutton, and here with me is Ashley Shelton, and you're hearing our voices, but we'd love to hear yours. And the talk line number is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. How about you say that number?
Yep, 504-582-9422. Love to hear from you.
Yeah. Why do we want to hear from you?
So we know what's going on. Yeah. You know, I tell people all the time, folks love data, but the real data comes from community. And so We want to know what's going on. We want to know how you're feeling. We want to what's going on. Are you prepared for the storm? How do you feel about FEMA? We've been talking about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So
yeah,
we would love
Are
to
you
hear
ready?
from
Are
you.
you ready? Are you interested in the elections? What are you hearing?
Yeah, we'd love to hear. So, you can, as my daddy used to say, you can ask us a question and we'll do our best to provide you with an answer.
Yep.
And if not, we'll give you a response. So
Exactly.
we'll say something
Mhm.
as you get our, you give us questions. Okay, we've got a caller. Good morning, Raquel. You're on with Will
Good
Sutton
morning,
and Ashley
Will.
Shelton. How
Good
are you?
morning.
Good morning, Miss Michelle, a.k.a. Miss Pretty. Yes, ma'am.
How are you
Yes,
this
ma'am.
morning?
I'm doing okay. I must tell you, Miss Michelle, you have a voice where, you just can really listen to all day or all the time. So good job for that.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I haven't checked in with WBOK in a little minute, and I just wanted to see, I had a little crack window that I can say good morning and say hello to Will because I haven't been, as responsive on a talk line. So I'm sorry about that, Will.
That's okay. Okay. It's good to
Right.
know that you're alive and
Mhm.
kicking and
Yeah.
wonderful to hear your voice.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes you got
Right.
things to say and questions to ask,
Exactly.
but I appreciate just
Exactly.
hello.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And I wanted to also tell you, WBOK follows me or whatever too, Will, because in fact, I had seen Chief Compass. He actually does the security detail for my baby's school. Lycée Francais.
Aha!
Oh, you use that aha moment, huh?
Yeah, I
Good job.
I love it.
See, you need to bring that segment out. I told you about that, Will.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I had to catch Chief because he didn't know who I was. I said Chief, he's well known to everybody in the city and stuff. But that second time I said, you don't know who I am. He said, no. I said, this is WBOK Raquel. Is that okay, Will? Is that legal?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. You got a prime seat among the WBOK family.
I love it.
Okay, Will. Thank you so much. And that means everything. I mean, every ounce to me. And I truly appreciate it. And I'll take it with definitely all the pride in the world. I promise I will keep taking, Will. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
For us with the report on my baby at Lycée Francais, he just received his first report card, Will, and I must say I am a proud mama. Definitely a little 2-second backstory. A mom that chased her education after 17 years. I chased a 4-year education in 2.
Okay.
And my baby, he received his first ever report card. He's in kindergarten. And I'm a proud mama to say he had received straight A's, Will.
I love it. Yes, yes. We love to see the babies thriving.
All right. Well, my baby deserved that bell. You better ring that bell for my baby.
Okay. Well, that was for you and your baby. But,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All
Have a
right,
good day.
It was a pleasure and a blessing to check in with y'all today, Will, and y'all it's always a great day at WBAK. And you know Raquel will be always listening all day long. Will. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Okay. Have a blessed day.
Yes.
You too,
All
Will.
right. So long. Delightful.
Delightful. Okay. Lots of love. Lots of love.
Oh boy. So there is a story that I want to touch on as we come up on the end of the first month of the year.
Yes.
And that is New Orleans seeing fewer homicides, but more shootings.
Yeah.
So people aren't necessarily
They're not
being shot
dying.
and killed.
Yeah.
But there are many more shootings. And of course, we have been talking in recent days about what happened at Dookie Chase. So in that case, there was one person shot and killed, but 3 people shot.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
3 shot, 1 shot and killed.
Mhm.
And so that adds to more shootings.
Right.
And not necessarily homicides.
Yeah.
And after such a downturn in violent crime generally and homicides in particular, we don't want to see anybody's life lost
Right.
at all.
Right.
Sickness or otherwise, but certainly not shootings
From gun
or,
violence. Yeah.
violence of whatever kind. But as we move on in the month of January, we're seeing more shootings,
Mhm.
and we've had too many homicides. And it's the first month of the year,
Yeah.
and we want to get through 2026 and have another downturn
Mhm.
in violent crime,
Yeah.
another downturn in terms of homicides, murders, and downturn in terms of shootings. I mean,
Yeah.
just unfortunately, too many people have too many guns.
Yep.
And illegal guns. So I'm not talking about the hunter or the peace officer and people who have reasons to have guns, because so many of these shootings, it's not even the user's gun,
Mhm.
or it is their gun, but they're not supposed to have the gun.
Mhm.
And then of course our state went and loosened
The gun laws.
restrictions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Open
not good.
carry. Yeah.
So with open carry, my personal opinion, you're going to have more incidents.
Absolutely.
Because some people are better at using guns than others.
Yeah.
And some
Well,
people use
better
the
than
gun.
using guns than words, apparently.
Yeah.
Most importantly, like
Yeah.
use your words.
Please
Take a
use your
break,
words.
breathe
Yes.
before we think that violence is the answer.
Yep. And as I've said this week, to use my own self as an example, it's like, I'm going to need a minute.
Exactly. Take
Okay,
a minute.
pause.
Take a minute.
I'm going to
Yep.
need a minute.
Yep. And and
I'll
then
be right
too,
back, but
yep.
I'm going to need a minute.
Look, I tell people, I say it about the traffic and all the things. You have more time than you have lives.
Yes.
And that applies to this too. You got to breathe. You got to walk away. You got to make better decisions.
Absolutely. So please use your words.
Yep. Use
Pause.
your words.
Take
Yep.
a moment,
Pause. Yep. Walk away.
And so often it's somebody you love.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right.
think about the next minute, the next hour, the next day.
Yep.
Think about Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
Don't
Yep.
you want them and you to be there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. It's 8:25 a.m. We're going to be going to break. You're listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. We're not done hearing from you. If you want to call the WBOK talk line, that number is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. After the break, we're going to be hearing from our friend Arnie Philco. And
Yes.
he's going to be talking about the New Orleans youth civil rights trip that just happened. Something that's been done over and over for some years. So it'd be a good opportunity to check in with Arnie Philco right after the break. You're listening to WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
All day long.
I'm David Patan Sr., owner of Whole Water and Food Over Medicine Academy, coach, consultant, and instructor. We're excited about our 21-day challenge. Stop, prevent, and reverse disease today. Cholesterol, diabetes type 2, high blood pressure, along with chronic illnesses and diseases. We believe that the gift of wellness is the greatest gift, and for $30 per month, $1 a day, you could have this gift for you and your family.
I'm Phyllis Washington, and I've benefited with health and weight loss.
For your gift of $30, healing and wellness can be yours. Call 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. The Whole Water Store. See you at 2135 Washington Avenue today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. the kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think, maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funny story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Attention parents, the Willow School, an A-rated National Blue Ribbon School in partnership with Tulane University, is now accepting applications for grades K through 12. Willow offers a nationally renowned arts integrated curriculum, top science and engineering program, and competitive athletic program. The Willow School is the highest performing K through 12 school in the state. The Willow School, where minds soar and creativity flourishes. Learn more about the application process at willowschoolnola.org today.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here at WBOK, 12:30 a.m. I am Will Sutton. I'm here with Ashley Shelton.
Good morning.
What a great call that was. Always good to be appreciated. And kudos for a mom being very proud of her kindergartner getting all A's.
Exactly.
Hey, starting off strong.
Absolutely.
Years to go, but what a great start. That's good. Yeah, we like hearing that too.
We do. Baby's thriving.
Absolutely. Well, right now we're going to jump into conversation with our friend Arnie Philco. So, man about town, man about politics, man about public service, man about philanthropy, big on Black-Jewish relations, which has been some of our more recent conversations. And we're here with Neron Northgreen. Arnie Philco has been doing some work with others for years, getting young New Orleanians to have a civil rights tour. And I think that's varied from time to time, but you all did that recently, and your son TJ was on that trip as well. So fill us in. When was the trip, and how did this one come about compared to some of the others?
Thank you, Will and Ashley, and it's nice to have Naren here with us. And I'm glad you got us on at 8:30. By the way, I'm not sure 7 o'clock would have worked all that well, but thank you, Will.
I tell you, when we're looking at people coming on and they say yes, and it's like, now what time do you start? 7 a.m. It's like, ooh.
It's early. It's early.
Competition for the
exactly.
You got it good.
All right, thank you. Well, we're really excited. Last weekend, we finished what is now our 12th New Orleans Youth Civil Rights. Now we call it / sports trip, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this started actually right after Katrina, when I was on the city council. We took a bunch of kids, 50 to 100 kids every year, on a civil rights tour. Took them to Alabama, Selma, Birmingham. At times we went to Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, and we were able to bring the trip back again this year as part of the Starting Block program, which I'll mention. And we were able to do this trip. Naren and her son were part of the trip last Saturday, and they got to go to Selma, spent some hours there, moved on to Birmingham to see some of the sites there, and then it's a long day. They leave at
emotional day too.
Yeah, it's a very emotional, and it's really an educational day. As you know, as TJ said to us in a quote after the event, seeing the civil rights venues firsthand just brings it all to life in a way that you can't do, through the academics and the books.
Yep.
And I'm sure Naren could talk about that. But we were very honored. And just very quickly, the Starting Block is a program that's been in place now for 5 years. I had a dear friendship with Leah Chase, who everyone knows in New Orleans. And when she passed away, I went to her family and said, what can we put together that would be meaningful to Leah? And we put this nonprofit together called the Starting Block. And what we do is we do two things in that program. One is we educate and train high school students in the greater New Orleans for a potential career in the sports field. I was blessed to have that opportunity, and it's not easy. All of the colleges have programs now in sport management, but nothing in the country for high school. So we're the first of its kind. And we're in kind of the first year of a 2-year cohort. This is our third cohort. And the other objective of the program is bringing diverse youth together that might never talk to each other, interact with each other. We have kids from all over the greater New Orleans area. I would say majority African-American, but Hispanic, Jewish, Asian. And it's amazing, from the first class to the graduation 18 months later, they went from not knowing each other to becoming friends. And we're hopefully developing leaders for our community through that program. So I'll stop there, and we can get into the trip itself.
No, it's a beautiful thing, because I do think that, I always tell folks they want to rush or force people into relationships, and you can't. It doesn't happen except for through experiences, right? Like, to experience things together, to build things together, to learn things together. And these trips are really important. And we keep hearing on the national news, and it's really been a conversation that our young people have not had real experience with the civil rights movement and what the history is. And we know that also too, that what they're learning in schools has been limited and or not well informed about what really happened in this country's history. And so to be able to go, and I know in Montgomery, the Equal Justice Initiative is such an emotional, powerful space to just sit in the realities of what happened, during the civil rights movement. And so this is exciting.
About how many young people did you have, and how many parents?
Yeah, we took about 35 young folks, and we had 15 or so. We filled up a whole bus. So some were parents, some were, for example, we had Leona Tate joined us on the trip this year.
Oh, excellent.
And of course, hearing from Leona, is very special.
Yeah.
And she's been a big part. In the past, we've, Reverend Skip Alexander used to go before he passed away. That was incredible every year. So we've had a variety of people. Keith Plessy from the Plessy versus Ferguson fam.
Yeah,
Keith is here. Ferguson is here as well, by the way.
Yep.
And they've been on the trip before. So again, being able to see it firsthand, to go walk across the Pettus Bridge, go to Rickwood Field, which is the oldest baseball stadium in the country that played a key role in integration and segregation. These are things, when you see them firsthand and hear from the experts, it's incredibly meaningful.
How old is TJ?
TJ just recently turned 16.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. So
Perfect
old enough
age.
to see, understand, process, ask questions. Did all that happen on the trip?
Yes. Let me tell you, the trip started about 5 a.m. We all met up to get on the bus. It was a long day. And we'd like to thank the Starting Block Foundation and everyone that played a part in it, especially catering, Glado, who actually coordinated everything. I mean, we didn't miss a beat. He was kind of bummed because we didn't get to go inside of the 16th Street Baptist Church, but they still got to experience everything that Kelly Ingram Park. I mean, I'm getting chills just talking about it. They actually got to walk through the park. Miss Leona Tate gave them her testimony and spoke to them there in the park. To walk across the Pettis Bridge was, it was so surreal. We parked the bus there. On the way there, we watched the film Selma, so they understood exactly what it is that they were going to see. And to be able to walk across that very same bridge that you just saw individuals beaten back across. The kids were like so quiet just walking across and having conversation about nothing has changed. The entire city looks like a time capsule. Right. And just to be a part of that, and myself and the other parents that were there, we were just talking and just kind of watching the kids' reaction to walk across that bridge and then to come back across that bridge again. Not to mention, we went to one of the last temples that are in that's in Selma, Alabama, and we got to speak with Miss Joyce O'Neill, who her sister was actually a part of that on Bloody Sunday. She told us the story. You would think that she was narrating the story that we watched on the bus because it came out, and this is her story. So it's every detail, step by step, that the children just watched. And to have that conversation with her, it was just like, it was amazing. They were a part of history, and they were there to see it all. My son actually got to stand on the mound in Rickwood Field. Wow. Yeah, he loves it. And one of the curators gave him a Rickwood Field band because he wears these bands on his arm that has scriptures on it. And he just had to give him one of those bands, and just to see everything. There was original postage on the walls when you walk in there. You're looking at the original concession stand, the original souvenir stands. I mean, it's just, you're in history. So they got a chance to see and be a part of history, especially to have that ride with Miss Leona Tate there with us. So, like, you guys are a part of history. I made my son shake her hand, and I put them together. I like, look, you are touching and you are hearing from history this very day. So just to be there to see that was just amazing. It was like 5 different stops in that one day. And it was just so much that the kids got to experience. And you saw it, and you got to see it across their face and their expressions. So we can't thank them enough. The Starting Block has been an amazing program from the beginning to end. So,
yeah, and too, we always remind the young people that so many folks that were participating in the civil rights movement and in all of these activities weren't much older than them. They weren't much older than that. And so even though, you know, they see the elders right now talking about it, the reality is that they were 17, 18, 20 years old walking across the Pettis Bridge, putting their lives on the line. And that's also something for the kids to, you know, really hold, you know, like kind of just hold that for a moment, that like, you know, they're playing video games, they're doing school, they're going on important trips to learn about history. Right. And it's like, no, these folks were fighting for freedom. They were fighting for democracy and the quality of life that we enjoy today.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to the Good Morning Show. This is Will Sutton and Ashley Shelton, and we are here with Arnie Filko and Naron Northgreen. Right?
Yes, that is correct.
I love that.
I think he just likes saying that mouthful. So yeah, I told you I'm gonna go by the one name by the end of the year.
So we're talking about a recent youth civil rights tour and sports tour that has happened just last Saturday.
Yeah.
And the impact on these youth. What was different about this trip, Arnie, from others you've had, and what's kind of a staple of every time they have to do this or they have to see that?
Yeah. Well, I would say they left a little bit earlier this year than in the past. A 5 a.m. trip. In fact, well, next year we'll get the morning show. Okay. You know, you're up anyway. So.
Right.
But you know what? I think the commonality of the trip, these kids come on the bus. They're not really sure what they're going to see or learn. It's early morning, as I said. By the time they get home, I mean, it's a life-changing experience. I still have parents come up to me from post-Katrina, from 2007 and 8, said, oh, my son was on there, their daughter was on that trip. You know, they're now nearing 30 years old or older. they still remember it. And it's bringing, first of all, there was a study some years ago that New Orleans youth, we have the lowest percentage of kids that have, or the highest percentage of kids that have never left the boundaries of Orleans Parish or Jefferson Parish. That's a known stat in our community. So it's important for them to get out and to actually see these things with their own eyes, to walk across the bridge and to go to the Civil Rights Institute, which at times we do, 16th Street Baptist Church and other places, because now they come back and they understand it. And actually, you said something really important. It's amazing that, number one, our kids just don't know civil rights, and it's getting worse. With the elimination of DEI education, I mean, we've got to do things now on our own to educate our kids about the history of the African American experience, the Jewish experience, whatever it might be. And I think this trip does that. And it's, we're very honest with them. One of the first stops they do is they go to a synagogue in Selma, very small. They've only got, I think, 2 members left. Yes. Okay.
Oh, it's only 2 members, and we got to meet those 2 members.
You met them.
Yes.
It's a beautiful synagogue, literally within a mile of the bridge. And the leader there is very honest on the trips we've done, said, here's what the Jewish community did at the time of the civil rights. Most of them were, as we know, were very much in line with the civil rights movement, but there were some that were not. Okay, it's not a monolith, and that's a very interesting discussion. And then to have an expert talk about the Pettus Bridge, which we always do. You can't beat that. Hearing somebody that lived it, and the point you made, Ashley, about the fact that the people that were involved were the age of the kids on this trip.
Right.
Because now we look at civil rights icons and we see them as older people. They don't realize they got thrown into jail when they were 16 and 17 years old.
Yeah.
That's incredible courage. And we hope that is imparted on the kids that go on this trip.
And they got to see that because one of the statues in the park has the children that says, we ain't afraid of your jails. And it has them behind the bars. It even has the water cannons that were sprayed on the children at that time.
God.
They are bronzed in the park. Everything is labeled. And there's one part in the park where you come between these brass dogs that show just how close the dogs were when the children were walking through and the police had the dogs that were coming in. I'll show you guys the pictures when we leave. I took plenty of pictures. But it's just to have the kids walk through and see that that's how close that dog was. This is a living, breathing animal that was in their face. So a lot of everything...
to do harm.
Yes.
To do harm.
Right.
Yes. And it's also too is so important for folks to understand that like right now today, Louisiana has a United States Supreme Court case that is about to undo the work that people died for. They're considering what they're going to do about Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act that will have, far-reaching, impact across this country. And, and I think that people want to kind of skip over the part where people died for the right to vote. They died for the opportunity to have their voices heard. And that's why this history is so important, both for our children to know, but for us to continue to talk about. Like we can't, it's like, it was just 60 years ago. It wasn't like it was 300 years ago. It was 60. And that wasn't long. It's not a long time. And so we're in a moment right now where we're seeing our rights eroded. We have questions about, like I was sharing earlier, what about the Constitution? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, what about the Constitution? Because it doesn't feel like we are following those rules. We are following what's been laid out.
You say that, Ashley. I told my son, we look at the black and white pictures that they show of all of the civil rights. I said, we had color back then. I said, they just depicted in black and white to make you think that it was just that long ago. I said, your grandmother was born during that time. I said, I wasn't born much later after that. So it's really not that much of time in between what we have now and what we're about to go back to, depending upon how that goes. So
yeah, no, for sure. And so they got to get involved.
The kids, this trip, unfortunately, we could not get the kids into the 16th Street Baptist Church. I think part it was the 2 days before MLK Day. Yeah. But they got to meet the sister of one of the survivors. And, when you put a human face, because, when you go, I've been to the church on past trips many times.
Yep.
It's haunting. And, you know, when you, it's one thing to hear about the bombing. It's another thing to see where it was and what they did. So, you know, just hearing from that is so impactful. And across the street, by the way, Birmingham has done a great job with kind of the history telling.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they
Montgomery,
have
too.
they have the Civil Rights Institute, they have the church, they have a park across the street that there's a section dedicated to Anne Frank. And they talk about hate of what Anne Frank faced in the Holocaust and in World War II, and tried to bring it together with the African American community experienced, you know, during Jim Crow and during the 60s.
Yeah.
And again, you know, unfortunately, you know, history comes to life. Just a week ago, there was a bombing in Jackson, Mississippi,
I was going to bring
at a
that up.
synagogue, and it's the oldest synagogue in Mississippi, and the former rabbi from the 1960s. That synagogue was bombed then, at that time, because he supported the civil rights movement. It's just, you know, unfortunately, if we don't learn about history and take action, it will be repeated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Neuron, did I get you
Yes, you did.
What do you think TJ came away with most? And were there any particular interactions that happened that weren't on the schedule, but because you and he were on this trip, something happened that you thought was good? As TJ's mom, you were like, I'm glad that happened. I'm glad you met this person.
I think just being on the bus with Miss Leona Tate, we had no idea she was going to be there, you know, and just like I say, she literally was one seat up and over from me. Like, this is history. We're riding and we're with history. Yeah. And just talking to TJ, one of the biggest things that he just kept saying, like, that was not that long ago. I was like, oh, you get it.
Right.
Like, it was not that long ago. And again, to see that everything has been preserved in Selma, to just walk up and it's like, it's just as if it just happened yesterday, you know. Outside of, you know, the bridge being clean, but the cars are passing. Everything in that area at the foot of the bridge is just, it has different statues. It talks about different things. There's a monument on the wall that says like African American History Museum. It's just that it looks like nothing has changed in that town. Yeah. And you can see, we rode through some of the hills in the countryside. It's like, where is everyone here in this town? You know, it's just like, this happened and then time stood still. And they just kept saying, oh, what's going on here? And just to be able to see those, Miss Joyce O'Neill, you know, talking to her. And she really had a conversation with the children, the last two members of the temple that we got to visit. Like, we are the last two. So you are actually seeing history as they're talking about it. So you're not just hearing a story of something. You're hearing it from the actual individuals. And to actually, I got the autograph book from Miss Sarah, who was one of the sister survivors of, you know, the bombing at the 16th Street Church, just to be able to see those individuals. Like Ernie was saying, these are those that went through this, you know, their family members or themselves, and they actually get to tell you about what's going on. How often do you get to see that or hear that from someone?
No.
So
it's powerful.
All right. We're going to go to break, and can you all stay with us just a few
Sure,
minutes?
sure.
Okay. All right. This is the Good Morning Show on WBOK, 1230 a.m. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m. What you is talking about all day long.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to all day long.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant.
Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, you're catching the last few minutes of the Good Morning Show because we're going to have to make way for the front porch. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Ashley Shelton, and we've been talking with Neron.
Yes.
And Arnie Felco.
Yes.
About the recent youth civil rights in sports trip that they took just last weekend. Wonderful, wonderful thing for those 35 young people and the 15 parents, guardians, and others to see, feel, and touch civil rights in sports history. Been to several of those places. It's an incredible experience.
It is.
When I go back to any of them, it's like, I'm glad I came back.
Yeah, there's always something because it's emotional. I mean, to be honest,
it really is.
There are lots of feelings. Like it moves through you what people went through, and you have to kind of, you go in and then you have to take a break because it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, like the sacrifices that people made, and also too like the violence and the parts of it that nobody wants to talk about. But it's like when you go to that church. I mean, like it was bombed and babies died there, right? And and I think that like I find myself in like in the spaces, but like I had to take a minute and just retreat because it's a lot. It's a real emotional experience.
Right. So, would you encourage other parents to have their children, their nieces, nephews go on this trip, and why?
Yes, wholeheartedly, because it's an experience. Just to know what goes on. One of the young men, when you walk across the Pettus Bridge, he tells his story of his family. His family was a part of what went on there. So again, it may not be the actual individual, but it's survivors of the family. So and every time I just think about it, I get chills, and it's a part of history. Like I say, everything there has been placed in a time capsule. So to be able to see what went on there, in Rickwood. The oldest baseball field in the world to walk through. We got to walk through. I got to touch the tap, the top of it. So we've had some famous people come through there. They filmed Jackie Robinson's story. As we walk through the tunnel to go onto the field, I got to touch a piece of history,
Right.
So, and it's just to be able to experience that and just to see what it looked like. And not much has changed at all in any of those sites that we went out to see. So just to see that this is what it looks like. So
aren't you going to do it again next year?
We're going to do it every 2 years. It's going to be part of the Started Block curriculum now.
Okay.
And again, next one will be the 13th year we've done this. And if I could I throw out a couple thanks?
Absolutely.
First of all, WBOK, Paul Boulier, when he was alive.
Oh, yeah.
Paul loved this initiative. In fact, he went. We had some things where he went with us one year, and he was a baseball guy. He loved baseball, and so BOK has been a big part of this. St. Aug has been a partner from the beginning. They've done Alston and Taylor has done an amazing job bringing a lot of St. Aug kids into the program. Toro Synagogue, the Hispanic Chamber, and as Niran said, I got to give a big shout out to my executive director, Kate Gladdow, because this year she really did the work. I may have done some of the past years, but it was Kate this year, and she put this trip together, and so thank you to everybody, and the Chase family, and the Mint family. Those are the three founding families with my family of this program. So we'll keep it going. I think it's really important that our New Orleans area kids get a chance to get out and explore.
I thank you all for coming in and talking about this specific experience and the history and making that connection for young people. I'm certain that you have excited some folks now, and so they want to know, can my kid be a part? I know I heard you not next year, but what can I do now to get them on the list?
Go to www.thestartingblocknola.com. Startingblocknola.com. We have a great website. You can you give us your name and contact information. Also to join the next class that'll begin in another year. So if you've got a son or daughter, high school age, that might have an interest in sports as a career, this is, again, the only program in the country, and they will become part of the Civil Rights Trip by being part of the Starting Block program.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, I want to make sure that our WBOK family of listeners know that when you say sports, you are including athletes, but it's not exclusively
Absolutely.
athletes
Yes.
as a part of the sports component.
Yes. I'm a good example of that.
Yeah, right.
I'm a wannabe athlete.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
so
Will,
there
that's
many
true.
other roles in sports.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so many areas now that you can be involved in the sports industry.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and helping us get more educated about what you're doing. I'm glad that you're all doing this work. We got to close out and make room for the front porch coming up next with Graylin and Kimba. Thank you, Ashley Shelton, for coming once again.
Always glad to be
Watch
here.
out for the weather developments, folks, and make sure that you are prepared and you are safe. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.